Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wink Cat Sports, weekly Lions news and rumors updates. A lot of stuff has kind of been happening throughout the week. People just saying stuff. On top of cap space made on June 1st, we'll start with that. Due to the Cam Sutton cut being after June 1st, we saved $10.5 million on our cap, which in a total going into this year is about $40 million. So it's a lot of space.
Crazy. I just out. I just can't believe that we have that much money still to spend. Um, Certainly, like I said, I don't know who's left out there that can help us.
I would
Uh,
assume it's more or less going to be trade wise.
well, right. I mean,
Then a
we certainly can absorb a big
May,
contract.
maybe we trade for Max Crosby
I would love that. That
and
would be
then
awesome.
sign him.
Well, I just this money being thrown around is just insane out there.
Well,
So
I don't really expect them to really do anything. I expect most of that $40 million to go towards the extensions of the future, like Hutchinson, um, potentially like Laporta, people like that in a while. So they're not. I don't think they're going to spend a lot of that money unless they feel like 1 year deal worth a bunch of money type of stuff.
yeah,
Because no, there's only one person I think that we haven't gotten out of the other drafts, and that's so far Hutchinson would be due next, I believe, in the contracts
I'm
of
not
our
so much worried.
players.
Everybody's worried. It just
And
seems like
then
this money goes up.
it does. It went
Cap
up.
goes up, and we're going to sign who we need to sign.
What's it? People who you
And
want
as
to
they've
keep.
often said, the cap is an illusion. It's just there to make people feel, give them a reason not to pay people. But there's so many ways around the cap. Um, we can get who we need to get,
Yeah,
and we're in a good position because we are a Super Bowl contender. So people want to come to us. So if we
and then
can
we
get
have the money. That's just the thing. I know there's been the rumor going into the wide receiver realm of things that maybe we should be trading for T. Higgins, which I don't really think we need to. I think we're fine on the offensive standpoint. Sure, it'd be great to have another weapon. But we just had Justin Jefferson sign his extension for 140 million 4 years. So no longer St. Brown is not the highest paid. You got Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, CD Lamb all trying to get contracts. They all probably will get more than St. Brown.
right.
So I mean, are you going to spend another 35 for a wide receiver potentially? And
Right.
T Higgins probably not.
Maybe we can get Shark back. Who knows? I don't know.
Uh,
Uh,
the
it's and plus, like we were saying, I think you're going to see Montgomery and Gibbs in the lineup together a lot more this season, with Gibbs being more of a receiving threat.
Yes, they're
Um,
working on that because he has been getting better in training camp with his wide receiver routes and working on being more of a passing threat. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to see him out wide more often than he was last year,
yeah,
and be working like that because I mean he is fast. If he has good hands and he can catch a ball, he's going to make space and be able to get somewhere.
get him the ball. Get him the ball. That's all I have to say.
Other things going on, kicking wise. Apparently, as we always know, the Lions are looking for new kickers. You know that Bates in the UFL, he missed a few chip shots outdoors in the last game that they played. So I mean, there's a little caution I think with him now because he hit that 64-yarder at Ford Field to start the year, and he did it again, and it keeps on going with that, the 60 plus yards. But if he can't continue to be a good kicker throughout the whole year or in those pressure situations,
Well,
is he worth it?
this is new to him too. He comes from soccer. He's got a great leg as far as distance. But like I said, what do we really need? This guy, knowing Campbell, you just need a guy who can kick from about 50 yards in consistently. Badgley might be that guy. Um, you don't need because he goes for it so often. Um, so we'll see. He's not but I'm not worried.
And the other problem at the moment is that NFL experienced kickers. There actually isn't a lot on the open market. The only one with some experience on the open market in the NFL is Randy Bullock. So there's not many options
I'm happy with
in
Badgley.
the free
If
agent.
that's what they want to do, go with
Ba-
Badgley. And if they really need it, they could have. We still got Hendon Hooker as far as trade bait or something like that. We got things we can move. And there's always kickers out there.
With Badgley working on his leg, because that's rumored that he's also got a stronger leg going into this year and trying to work on it. It might not be bad to keep him, but also keep Bates in mind because really Badgley doesn't have too much competition on the team. They have an undrafted free agent that they signed. But besides that, I think the guy to go after, if you're going to go after one, is give Bates a shot. And if he can compete well in training camp, there you go.
Yeah, there's no harm in that. Uh, but like I said, if we can get somebody, if Badgley can be consistent from 50 yards in, that'll be fine with me.
And then one last thing to end the video on. Ben Johnson, he did address the media this past week, on why he wanted to stay in Detroit. And it's not a regular thing for many coaches to say that they feel that here is better than a head coaching opportunity somewhere else.
I think
He basically said he's not leaving. He enjoys being here, and he will not leave unless there is a really good opportunity, and the opportunity feels right.
I've heard other people say it, and we've said it for years. We've been saying this for the last, for as long that some people are just coordinators, and there's nothing wrong with that. Every great coordinator doesn't have to be a head coach. Maybe they like just taking care of the offense, and they're good at it. And he said,
Yeah.
and it's always made sense to me. I've never, but it's ego more than anything else, I'm sure. But to get a guy, it's refreshing to sit there and say, "Look, I'm happy where I'm at. My family's happy. I make a good salary. I enjoy what I do, and we're successful." And he wants to finish the job. There's nothing wrong with
No,
that.
we're all happy
That's
about him
great.
wanting to stay here.
Everyone's just going, well, it's kind of like, well, he's got to be a head coach. No, he doesn't.
And that's
That's
the
up
thing.
to him.
He didn't say he didn't want to be a head coach. He didn't say that at all. He said he thinks he'd be fine as a head
Right.
coach.
He wants to be a head coach in a good situation. He's not going to take a crap job, which Washington was, to give up on a good job, which Detroit's offensive coordinator is. He's not going to take a bad situation that he'll probably get fired from inside of 3 years when he's got a chance to go to the Super Bowl with us and have some real success. Hey, who the hell knows? He's only in his 30s.
Oh yeah,
Maybe,
yeah. He has a
maybe one day he'll
long
take
career.
over for Campbell. Maybe he will.
Maybe.
Maybe he'll stick around there, and this will be like Ghidra, the three-headed monster. We got our defensive coordinator, offensive coordinator, and our head coach.
Aaron,
And they
it doesn't seem like Aaron Glenn's going anywhere either. I mean, he had his interviews, whether he failed them or he told him he doesn't care about leaving Detroit. But I mean, he stayed, and we'll see again this year. I know
players love these guys. You don't hear anything bad from the players about their coaches, about the coach.
The heat that Aaron Glenn usually gets from media and fans about his scheme, well, he hasn't really had a secondary the past few years.
Right. So it's about talent too. He's had some great games and great, as far as, like I said, game plans. And yeah, every once in a while you're going to get beat. You're going to get beat bad. Everybody has. That's just the nature of the game. You're not going to go 17-0 or whatever it is now. I can't even remember how many games.
It's 17. That's 17, the other rumor.
You're not going to do that.
Other rumors are working towards 18 games. That's the other rumor.
Crazy. Just nuts.
Well,
they cut out
they're going to cut out a preseason game, and then the Super Bowl will be on a holiday weekend.
If that's what they feel, great. I don't care. It's not me going out there beating shit up. But I think if you do that, you better expand the roster because you're going to have injuries. You're going to have these guys just can't sustain this.
Well, they would have 2 bye weeks.
If you go to the Super Bowl, that's a 24 game season.
Yeah,
that's just.
They would also have 2 bye weeks if they went up to 18 games. Hence why the Super Bowl will be pushed back another week to a holiday weekend.
Yeah, you need it because of the injury stuff. I mean, that's the thing about playing all these games. These guys' bodies can't take it.
It will always be on a holiday weekend if they do the 18-game season because it will be with President's Day.
That's one thing no one realizes about Jared Goff. He doesn't get hurt very much because he don't move. He don't go anywhere. He has an offensive line that protects him. He's a pocket quarterback. So his risk of injury is a lot less than
I mean,
someone.
and he's been getting hit. He's like, there's no
Yeah,
doubt that he's taking shots back there because he stayed mobile.
it's a
If you
little bit
remember,
different when you're taking shots in the pocket
yes,
than when you're
I mean,
trying running out there and trying to get yards with your
the,
feet.
I mean,
You're
if anyone remembers that first home game against Seattle this year, when the fake was good enough that one guy just beamed him.
right, right.
So I mean, he's taking hits, and that's just the one thing. Yeah, he hasn't. I think out of the 2 years so far that he's been here, he hasn't gotten hurt for 3 years or whatever it's been by now.
It's
But he
gonna
hasn't
be.
gotten hurt.
We're in a rare position now, a position I've never been in the 50 plus years I've been a Lions fan. That we don't have anything really to worry about in the off season. The team is set. We know what they're going to do.
Like I
We
said
have
they
the
might.
continuity. That's what That's what gives us. That's our advantage
If
in this
if
division.
they do anything else, it'll be a surprise. Obviously, they have the opportunity in cap space if they wanted to try and trade for somebody for 1 year to try and go all for it. And maybe if we're doing really good by trade deadline, that's a really big possibility. If you
Right?
have all that cap space to trade for a Max Crosby
I,
or trade for another wide receiver if the wide receivers
you're
aren't
in a
playing up.
position
So it's
now.
going
I
to be
mean,
interesting.
would you give up? Would you give up two number ones for Max Crosby right now? I mean, you're talking about a defensive line with Max Crosby, Aiden Hutchinson. I forget the guy from Cincinnati we
DJ
got.
Reader,
DJ
Aleem
Reader and
McNeil.
Aleem McNeil. That's a hell of a freaking line. That's a hell of a freaking line. And you got young guys on both ends.
So I mean, yeah, I mean,
I mean, who are going to be are playing for. They're in their prime. I mean, that alone, I would do that. I don't because this is Super Bowl this year. This is our Super Bowl year. This year, possibly next year, we still have a window open. I think through Goff's contract, we have a window open.
yeah.
So you got to do what you have to do to give yourself the best shot at this. And if
I
it
mean,
doesn't work out, at least you did it. No one can say you didn't
I
try.
mean, we won't be upset if we have a few years of at least decent football. I mean,
Can you imagine that kind of line? Max Crosby, Aiden Hutchinson, DJ Reader, and Aleem McNeil.
for 1 year because we only got
Jesus.
Reader for a year, but it
Well,
would be a
yeah,
decent
but
line.
DTs are are a lot easier to replace than edge rushers. There's always good guys in the middle, but who knows? Maybe we could sign him for another year.
Maybe. But with all that being said, though, a little bit longer than our usual one, but it's okay. If you like what you see, like, comment, subscribe, share the video around. Let me know what you think about the Lions cap space situation mostly. Everything else, maybe kicker too. But hope to see everybody soon.